Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us on our webinar today. So today we're covering off the topic of how to maximise your HRIA membership. So because we've got a few people, we've opened this webinar up to existing members and potential new members. I just wanted to cover off a little bit about who the HRIA is for those who don't know. So the purpose of the HRIA is to support and encourage a strong hire industry here in Australia. And the way that we do that is through supporting our members' businesses and their staff, as well as promoting the message around the benefits of hiring. So we provide tools, resources, and support to assist our members' businesses be as successful as possible. Whether you're considering joining the HRIA, whether you've recently joined or you've been a member with us for many years, what we wanted to do today was to take some time to take you through some of the things that we would encourage every single member to take a look at to make sure that they're getting the most out of their membership. So everything that we're going to show you today and talk through today is available to every single member. So whether you're a single branch, hire company, right through to the large national operations with branches all across the country, plus suppliers to the industry as well. So the manufacturers and other suppliers to the industry. I also wanted to take the opportunity to thank Point of Rental Software, who are the HRIA's technology innovation sponsor, for their support. It's through partnerships like this one that we're able to put on webinars and other events for all of our members. So quickly before we start, just a little bit of housekeeping. So there's going to be time at the end of the session today for any questions. So if you have any questions, please pop them in either the chat or the Q&A. So I'll keep an eye on that and we can ask questions of the panelists at the end. This webinar is being recorded. So it will be available on our website and our YouTube channel shortly after today's session. So please feel free to share this with team members or anyone else that you think would find this session useful. So I'll now take the opportunity to do a couple of introductions. So you'll probably see a couple of other faces here today. So we have Katie from the HRIA National Office. So Katie is our Membership Engagement Manager. So odds are if you've called the office asking any questions about your membership, you have probably spoken to Katie before, or she's been at the end of any emails that you've sent through to the office as well. We've also got Luke Gillen from Shaw Hire. So thank you, Luke. Luke is a current member of the New South Wales HRIA Committee and former president for New South Wales, twice he tells me. And Shaw Hire has been a member of the HRIA since 2010. And we also have Ash Woodcock from RPM Hire. So Ash started RPM Hire back in 2011 and RPM Hire became a HRIA member in 2019. So RPM Hire were also one of the finalists in our Rental Company of the Year competition at Hire 21 this year. So thank you to everybody who's volunteered or been volunteered to be one of our panelists today. So I'm now going to pass over to Katie, who's going to take you through the member benefits in a little bit more detail. So over to you, Katie.
Thanks, Sally. As Sally mentioned, I'll be taking you through the many benefits that are available to you as HRIA members, and everything we offer is designed to help you, your business, become better and to create a strong industry. So to start off, I'll show you the member services dashboard, which is where you'll find everything, all the benefits that are accessible to you, as well as where you can update your details and reset your password. So to access that, you just go to membership and member services, and that'll take you to this page. Here you'll see quick links, which are our most accessed features, as well as the main member menu, which is found on the side here. And everything I talk about, you'll be able to access through this menu. To save on time, I've got everything pre-opened, but everything that I talk about, you'll be able to find in there quite easily. So if you were to scroll down, you'll see your company details. Here you can update them, anything that needs to be changed. If you change address, everything can be done on this page, as well as updating your password if you need to change it for whatever reason. And at the very bottom, you'll be able to see your membership number as well. And then the second tab here, this is your search keywords, and this is really important for both hire companies and suppliers to make sure that you've ticked the equipment that's relevant to you or the services as well. For hire companies, these keywords are used to search for you up here in the search businesses, equipment and location. And that's used by the general public as well. And then for supplier search, I'll show you that a little bit later on. Before I take you through any more of the website, I just wanted to talk about new hire companies. When you join up, your joining fee includes a free full delegate ticket to the next HRIA convention. So for anybody who's joined since May this year, you'll get a ticket to HRIA 22, which is at the Adelaide Convention Centre, the 25th and 26th of May next year. And this ticket includes welcome drinks, plenary sessions with keynote speakers, and exhibition floor on both days. So the first thing that any new member should access on our website is the contracts and agreements. So here you'll find our master agreement templates, as well as a cross-hire template as well. If you don't have a contract, this is a great place to start and get yourself started up. And then if you do already have one, it's not a bad idea to compare yours with the one we've had drawn up and make sure you're not missing anything. As these agreements are templates, any changes made, we recommend that you seek legal advice for them. And next up, we have HRIA Accounting and Business Advisory. This is run through our partner HLB Manjudd, who have a strong relationship with the hire industry. They can assist with essentials of running your business, advisory for every stage of the business's life cycle, including succession planning and personal finance. They also offer a complimentary business review, which can be accessed down here on the website. It takes about 5 minutes to complete and will let you know where you're sitting. You can also learn more about HLB, see the scope of services they offer, the exclusive offers they have for members, and any articles and news items relating to the accounting and business advisory area. It's also important to note that it's always the right time to reach out to them. You don't have to wait for a specific time in the year. You don't have to wait for the start of the financial year. You can call them at any time, and you can find their number on the page here. So next up, we have HRIA Insurance. In March this year, we partnered with a new insurance broker and relaunched HRIA Insurance. And as the page suggests, this new offer has been designed for the industry, by the industry. And our new partners, hire insurance brokers, are experts in the hire industry, and it is never a bad time to get an obligation-free quote. Kylie, who's helped set up this partnership, she has over 20 years experience in the hire industry, and her partner actually owns a hire company and is a member with the association. So they've really tailored a package specifically for our members. Next up, we have I just can't access it because of the share thing. 1 second, sorry. And we have HRNet, which is run by Mason Sear Turnbull lawyers. And this is a human resources helpline, which can assist you with any HR needs, from hiring, firing, maternity leave, paternity leave, and modern awards. It's a free service in most cases. If it's a more complex situation, there may be an additional charge, but they'll let you know before proceeding. And one really important thing to note on their page on our website is this facts and template sheets. Here you'll find invaluable resources for all businesses. They've got new employee checklists, fact sheets about termination, long service leave, and then down the bottom you'll find templates of letters of offer of employment, termination, which are a great tool for any business. Next up, we'll go to that supplier search that I mentioned a bit earlier. It's great for our members to reach out to another member, especially a supplier member. They have specifically joined the HRIA Association as they know and understand our industry. So this search is really simple to use. You can search on one of those keywords that I mentioned before, the location or a specific company name if you know what you're after, and that will bring up anything that matches. So here you can see we have 7 software companies who are available to assist any of our members. We recently launched our referral program. So this program is aimed to build a stronger hire industry, and any employee of a member company is encouraged to use this. If you refer a company, you receive a $50 gift card when they join. And you'll find some useful tools on here. We have designed an A5 and DL flyer, which you can put your information on and hand off to people. You can also complete the referral form here. And as soon as that comes through to us, we get in contact and we tell them a bit more about the association and try to get them on board. And we've also been working on our why hire information. So we've been pushing this why hire message out through videos and social media campaigns. And we've developed this toolkit in addition to assist you in getting that message across to your customers. So here you'll find the why hire 10 reasons for hiring, why hire from an HRIA member, and then flyers, posters, and social media tiles to suit your type of hire company. It's a great toolkit. Sally's been working really hard on getting this done. And you may have seen the videos that have been launching in the past couple of weeks about why hire and the different reasons for why we should be promoting hiring over buying. Next up, we have our red alerts. So this is used to get the word out about stolen equipment and or a person of interest. We encourage members to use this each time, as it not only gets the word out to members about equipment to be on the lookout for or a person who shouldn't be hiring from them, it is also a constant reminder to check your security measures. We've gotten some really great feedback from members who every time a red alert comes through, it just reminds them to make sure that they've got everything set up to avoid this happening to them. And it's really helpful to let other members know this person has been getting around to different hire companies, and it helps protect everybody else as well. And then you just click on it, complete a form, and it comes straight through to me and we get those out for you. We also have our HRIA logos, which hopefully most of you will have them on your website already. We did a rebranding, last year, and these new logos, it's a great time to check to make sure you have the right one. And we have different file types, and if you need ESP or a different file type, just let us know and we can get that through for you. It also goes through a little bit about what you can and can't use it for, but I really recommend using the proud member of the HRIA logo and to encourage other people to get on board. And then lastly, on the website, before I just take you through some additional information, we have our Chain of Responsibility course, which is found in resources. Here you'll find a little bit more information about the 2 courses we have available. At the moment, we just have the online awareness course, but we recently did, in the first half of this year, face-to-face Chain of Responsibility courses, which was through funding we secured through the NHVR. So you can access the courses here. We have a large variety of modules, from fundamentals and introduction to courses designed for specific roles within the Chain of Responsibility. So that's all on the actual website for you to go through. There are some other things I'm going to mention, which you'll be able to find more information and access them as well. But I thought I'd just talk about them so I don't have to just keep showing you where everything is. So we also have some safety tools on the website. We have swims and hazard register templates, which are available in that menu that I mentioned before, and they're a great tool if you don't already have them in place. We've got those templates available for you. We also have staff development programs. So we have our preferred training provider, Strategic Alignment Training, who are available to assist members with their training needs and have been working with members for over 11 years. For any of your training needs, the first step is to contact Aileen at SAT, and Aileen will be able to let you know of any existing training available and what funding is available to you. Aileen is also very generous enough to run the next 3 programs that I'm going to go through with you and just give you a little bit of information on. So we have our HATS program, which is the HRIA Apprenticeship and Traineeship scheme. This program has been designed to further educate opportunities for your staff and is targeted at newcomers to the industry without previous qualifications. It is a great incentive for school leavers to get qualified while they work. It provides participants with a Cert 3 in business, which has been specifically tailored to the hire industry, and there is funding available for eligible participants. We also have our Women in Hire and Access program. This mentoring program focuses on building confidence and empowering women in our industry. This year's program is launching with the first module next week, but there is still a little bit of leeway if you want to try and get in. Just contact the national office, and Dee in our office will see what she can do. Next up, we have our Young Professional Leadership Development Program. This program targets the 40 and under demographic and is designed for future leaders of our industry. It focuses on developing both personal and professional skills. The program is launching in September, and we are currently accepting expressions of interest for both mentors and mentees. It does say it closes today, but I will extend it for anybody who wants to participate. Just get in contact with me. One of the final things I wanted to mention is webinars and state meetings. We recommend attending both of them. You've all already ticked off the first one, so that's great to see you guys here. We hold webinars regularly to provide education and help you grow your business. And the next webinar in September is on recruitment and staff retention. In a normal year, we hold 3 to 4 state meetings per state, and these are a great opportunity to network, meet other members in your area, and keep up to date on industry news. And finally, we have our Hire and Rental magazine, newsletter, and website. And we're always looking for content for these, from business anniversaries, product launches, helpful insights, and anything you might think is newsworthy. While we can't promise everything will get in, we will try our hardest to make sure that we can get most of those stories in for you. And that is all from me. Thanks, Sally.
Thanks, Katie. Good job. Well done. So I'm now going to pass over to our 2 members, Luke and Ash. So we might start. I'll let you guys know what I want you to talk about first, and then we might throw to you, Luke, first, and then we'll have a chat with you, Ash. So just want you guys to tell us a little bit about yourselves and your business, how you first came to know about the HRIA, if you can remember, and why you originally joined, and then what you actually have got out of your membership. And I guess in a nutshell, what you would say to anybody who was considering joining or wasn't sure about renewing, what your advice would be to them. So start with you, Luke.
Thanks, Sally. Hello, everyone watching, and well done, Katie. I think you actually described some of the member benefits better than I've ever seen done before, so well done. My name's Luke. I'm the owner of Shore Hire. I guess I found out about the HRIA. I was lucky enough or unlucky enough to be born into this industry. My father started a hire company before I was born back in the day called Shoreco, and so in the early 90s, I think I was taken along as a budding youngster in the industry along to my first HRIA meeting, where a lot of the stalwarts of the industry was still there. A lot of people would have heard about them all around, the Jim Browns, the Andy Kennards, and those sort of people were still in attendance and pushing and forging ahead back in those days. From my perspective, we're a little bit unique, I find, when we go to a lot of the hire association meetings, and the fact that we're a very specialist business and not a general hire company. I know there's obviously plenty of variations on that. So from my perspective, I think I've always said when people have asked me, the one huge benefit that I've believed that I have got out of it personally and as a business, but me personally, is very much about networking. A great example I thought of when we were talking about this meeting was when COVID happened last year. I spoke to a few members, but when I think COVID got really real for me, particularly in Sydney, when construction was going to close down only a couple of 6 or 8 weeks ago, I actually reached out to quite a few people in the industry, and when I look back, they were all other members of the association that I've got to know over attending many of the different meetings and conferences. And I think often you get to know those people a lot better in the after hour stuff when we have the conferences and people get together and have a drink, and that's when people, I guess, get that connectivity where you then feel very able to ring anyone and ask sort of anything, anytime about a situation like this, which, you know, it was nice to know that we all sort of rallied together to come up with some same sort of thought processes. And I was speaking to James Oxenham, our CEO, on that weekend, just to make sure that everyone was aligned and we were all sharing information. So for me, that was a huge part of why I'm here, to have those sort of networks. And it might be about when I'm interviewing a new person, whether they might have worked for one of the other companies, or just about asking what people are doing in and around a role, or or an issue, I often speak to other members that I've really got to know well for that networking. And I guess that sort of rolls into that connectivity, just being connected to the rest of the industry and feeling able to talk to a lot of different people at different times when I need to, so that I'm not just being insular in my own business. One that was probably a little bit touchy, but I'll bring it up, is probably succession planning. From my perspective, a lot of the bigger hire companies over the years that have acquired smaller hire companies, I think often get to know who is the who's who at the HRIA. So for anyone that thinks, I'm not sure where my future lies in terms of whether my family might be coming in or what I'm going to do, I think apart from the likes of some of the member services that can help step through that succession planning, I think getting to meet some of the larger hire companies and prospective buyers is a really good way of getting to know who they are and how people might have bought and sold in the past in this industry by talking to the people in and around those meetings. I'm not suggesting that this is like a sales little portal, but it's certainly, if you're ever thinking about ever getting out or trading, then this is a good way to get to know who's who. For those of you that want to ask the question, knowing that we've sold to Coates Hire twice, no, we're not selling a third time. This one is for the next generation. So thanks for asking. From my perspective, exhibitions has been amazing for a lot of members. From my perspective, when I go to the exhibitions, it's interesting. We generally only have one supplier there, which is our software supplier, and we sort of spend some time with them and get to know a bit more about what they're working on. And sometimes they hold, side forums on what they're doing. From my perspective, we don't buy most of the stuff at the exhibitions, but I can very much see by talking to other members and other people that are attending that is an amazing way to get to know what's happening in the industry, anything new, any trends, and just reconnecting with the people all in one place very efficiently that you would be thinking about buying from if they are supplying you the equipment. Probably another exceptional thing that I think the association does well, and I think networking is the key, but the other one is the awards. Not to blow our own trumpet, but we've actually won Hire Company of the Year twice, once as Booths Hire and then once as Shore Hire. It wasn't actually the award that I want to talk about, though. That's nice, getting a trophy and putting it in your at your front office. But from my perspective, it was actually the process that you run through in doing so that I actually think was really helpful for my business, or our businesses back then, which was really reflecting on what you do well, what you do badly, and what you need to improve on, and getting the feedback from the judges, who are all very knowledgeable in the industry. They've all had a lot of industry experience, on some feedback on what you do well and what you could do better, and getting an understanding of what other people are doing. I think from an owner's perspective, it was a really good way too of making sure that everyone did a really good job of that huge spring clean and getting everything looking amazing for a single purpose, to sort of raise the benchmark, and hopefully once you raise that benchmark for the purpose of those awards, you can sort of stay on that benchmark. The other one, again, a little bit selfishly, is I think, when I say selfishly, obviously it's good for companies to be members, but for me, selfishly, personally, I think it was really good for personal growth, in the fact that being originally on a committee within the HRIA and feeling like you had to come out of your shell a little bit when I was younger, and then asking to be a vice president and a president. And then the association is very good at helping to train the people that get into those senior roles in public speaking and what they need to do and how they need to do it. And I would also say that if you are on a committee, that there's not a huge workload to do any of the committee work. The HRIA office is an amazing engine to do all of the work for you. So generally speaking, if you are on a committee, you generally rock up to a meeting with no additional work than just attending those meetings anyway, and all the work's been done for you. You really become just the face of what the back office is doing. So the personal growth, though, that I got by having to step out of my shell a little bit and put myself out there, I think was certainly helpful, and certainly helps for me as an individual to expand my skills that I might not have had. But before I push on to Ash, I'm just going to say, from my perspective, where else do you get to go and talk to all of the people in your industry about anything you really want to talk to without feeling like you're intruding on what might be a tough question? So for those of you on here that aren't members, I implore you to do so. And I can see on the participants list a lot of familiar faces, so hello to all of you. But I'll pass back to you guys.
Thanks, Luke. That was great. Ash, now over to you.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you very much for having me on, and Katie, I think you did a really great job of summarising everything. And I don't know if you saw there, but I was actually taking a couple of notes on extra benefits that I know I can make use of. So I think for me, I started my journey in the hire industry at a hire company called Glen Iris Hire. It's now Hire Depot. And they had on their wall all of the red alerts that would come through. And I think that was a great thing for the members of the public to see, to come in and say, hey, if you steal your equipment, your name's going to be plastered around the country, and you're not going to get away with it a second time. So that's how I originally found out about the HRIA. And then my sort of journey in the hire industry, opportunity came out from working in that business to buy 3 variable message signs used for traffic management. And so I ended up starting my own company called RPM Hire back in 2011. So being quite young, I was 23 years old. I sort of was looking for a lot of guidance and that sort of thing. And so I got that from my mentor at the time. And then a couple of years ago, I joined the HRIA to continue my learning and knowledge of the industry. I think when I joined, the original benefit I was sort of looking for was that extra business support and access to the industry experts. So the accountants, the insurers, the lawyers, all people that I knew would understand my business and would understand the industry. And I think when you're working through those, with those type of consultants, you can spend a lot of money explaining what you do. And so to have someone that, understands the industry is really important. And then I think when we joined, the actual benefits were far greater than I had imagined. So we went through the Hire Company of the Year process, and we were selected as a finalist last year. And like sort of Luke touched on, it was a really good process to go through to put a fine-tooth comb over the whole business and then have it benchmarked against the rest of the industry and find out what you might be doing really well, but also areas that you can improve on and continue learning in. So that was great. The awards night was a really great night, and we took our team up to the Gold Coast and all had a lot of fun. A couple of our young members have been through the mentor program. That was really good. So our operations manager is quite young, and through the mentor program, she got access to another managing director of another hire company, and they would catch up on a weekly phone call to discuss industry related matters. I actually asked her specifically today the sort of things she was discussing, and she said, no, it's confidential. So I'm sure she got a lot of benefit out of that. And just more industry experience, I guess. As sort of Luke mentioned as well, networking is a big part. And I think I'm very open to learning as much as I can from other people in the industry. And this is a great forum to do it in. So I think also being a business owner, it can be quite lonely at times, and especially when you're discussing really high level topics of that are sort of sensitive, and you can't necessarily discuss them with your own staff. So having that access, and I found that the other members are really open to sharing their learnings and their insights into the industry, and so that's been great. We do use the HRIA logo on our marketing material, and I think it just adds that extra level of professionalism, and especially when you're trying to build your online brand and presence, and having being a member of a very reputable association has been really good for us. And I think just access, we also participated at the conference as well. And so having access to the different suppliers up there, we have just started in the last 12 months using point of rental software for our hire management software. And so knowing that that's, come recommended from the HRIA and is used by its members as well, was good reassurance when selecting that sort of software. Yeah, I think that's all from me, unless you've got any other questions.
No, thanks, Ash. And I do love it when someone like you says some of the young people in our office participate in young professionals. So pretty sure you would still be eligible to participate as well. Am I correct?
Yeah, I am. I'm only 33, I think. Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll get you on board as a mentor. Okay, so we've got a couple of questions here that I'll ask. So Katie, I think you're free for a little bit, but we'll have a couple of questions to Luke and Ash. So we've heard today about quite a few of the benefits or partners that you have access to when you're a HRIA member. If I could ask both you and Luke and Ash, if you could pick one thing that you would tell every member to make sure that they had a look at after this webinar today, what would that be?
After you, Ash.
Yeah, I think it would be if you're really serious about the industry, then you need to understand, the risks are involved, and especially in a high risk industry like hire, and then also the constant sort of regulation change. So I know when I joined, and it's a few years old now, but the PPSR was a really sort of complex piece of legislation, and it still is. And the HRIA has great information and resources available for you to reach out to. So they've been great with the COVID response as well. And then, being able to keep on top of the new one, I guess, is the National Heavy Vehicle Law and the chain of responsibility as well. So being on top of that and abreast of the industry, yeah, really important.
I was going to go with two, if that's okay. So our first one was just, I'm going to make sure I get this name right. Help me out here, Katie. It's HL Judd. Is that
HLB Man Judd.
HLB Man? Sorry, HLB Man. Sorry, I had too many names in my head. The business, again, the terminology, Katie, but we had done it. The questionnaire. What's it called?
Business advisory.
Yeah, but what's the questionnaire called at the bottom of that link?
Oh, the complimentary initial review.
That one, sorry. So that's what I was going to refer to. Having done that, I think it's super helpful for members. It really gives you a good benchmark of where they sit. And I would say as well that the new higher insurance package or insurance supply offer from Kylie and her team is super helpful to run through that process, just to understand, having gone through that change of insurers recently. And I have to say, unfortunately, Kylie hadn't come into it. Otherwise, she probably would have been the person I went to. But having done an insurance review and knowing how comprehensive Kylie is, I think anyone who's going to renew their insurance to 3 or 4 months out, go and get them to do a comparison to your own, I think is super helpful, because I think people get stuck in, they just know what they know. And I think it'll be very worthwhile for people to get a second opinion on insurance and even to price it, to make sure that they're actually getting what they're after. Having done that ourselves and changed from a supplier we've been with for 30 years only 2 years ago, it's been amazing to me to see the differences. And I mean, I do know Kylie personally to know how on it she is. I already had another personal relationship, so we went another way. But I just think for members, there's so much potential savings and extra risk coverage that it's worthwhile doing that process.
Yeah, thank you, Luke. I mean, it can't hurt to get a second opinion, right? So you're not going to lose when you do that. So I don't think there isn't any other questions, but I am going to just say, ask Luke and Ash one last question before we wrap up. But if anyone does have any questions, please pop them in the Q&A now. Otherwise, you won't get your chance to talk to these guys again. Well, not for a while anyway. So I guess my last question would be to Luke and Ash, and you may have already answered it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If you were talking to a hire company that's just set up down the road from you, and they came to you and they said, heard about the HRIA, should I join? What would you tell them?
I'd be value for money. I'd say it's a definite hell yeah. The resources that Katie spoke about earlier, and the ability to talk to other people in the industry without them feeling threatened by the conversations that you have in a lot of the social settings, I'd say it becomes a bit of a no-brainer for me that you just are not going to get that any other way.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me also, I think if you're serious about being in the hire industry, then you need to join, and it's a no-brainer. Yeah, and you'll absolutely get your money, your value for money. You do get out what you put in. So be involved and try and get involved as much as you can. And the more you get involved, the more you'll get out.
Yeah, thanks, Ash. And we do hear that a lot from a lot of members, is that there are a lot of opportunities to put forward your opinions and to be involved. And so if you do get the chance, put people in the Young Professionals program, put people in the Women in Hire program. If there's a meeting, get along to it, because the more you put in, the more you get out. And look, now that I mentioned questions, looks like there might be one. So let me see. Oh no, it's just people saying thank you. So there you go. I'm happy with thank yous. They're good questions.
And I apologise to Kim for not remembering the name of the business. I had too many names in my head, so sorry, Kim.
It's okay. Katie had it all written down. So I guess what, in wrapping up, so we'd like to encourage every one of you today to take some time to have a look at all of the things Katie took you through and that Luke and Ash spoke about, just to make sure that everyone's getting the most out of your membership. Those benefits and partnerships are there, whether you use them or not. So it makes perfect sense to go and have a look and use any of the free reviews and contact any of the resources, just to make sure that you're getting the most out of your membership. If there's something that you're not sure about, feel free to contact Katie or anyone in the national office. We're always here to help you. Well, we're all at home at the moment, but we are here to help you, and you can still contact us through all of the normal channels. So I guess in addition, we do have a small national office team, as I mentioned, but the success of the HRIA does rely on its members. So thank you all for being our members. And as I mentioned, the volunteers and the participation of our members. So we've got national boards, state committees, smaller working groups, and we do often hear that from those that are involved, that the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. So if there is an opportunity to get involved, if something gets sent out that is asking for people to get involved, put up your hand, or at least ask the question of us of what's required. As Luke said before, state committees, the president has to do a few bits and pieces, but the actual committee's just involved in doing some fun stuff, organising the meetings and reaching out to local members, welcoming new members on board. So we're not asking a lot. So please, if you get the opportunity, we would love to have as many people on board participating as well. We always do encourage our members to provide feedback, letting us know what works for you, what doesn't, and what else you'd like support with. So the more feedback we get, the better we can support you all. So please do not hesitate to contact the national office if there's something you think's missing, if there's something you think's not quite right. If we don't know about it, we can't make changes, and we can't work on those things. So as Katie mentioned before, we have another webinar that's being held on Wednesday, the 22nd of September, again at 1 o'clock. So we've partnered with recruitment specialist Beaumont People for this webinar. One thing we do hear from members about is struggles they have with recruitment. So this one is about effective strategies for recruiting and retaining the perfect people for your business. So we definitely encourage anyone who's involved in recruitment to come along to that webinar too. So thank you again for all attending today, and thank you to Katie, Ash and Luke for your participation, and I'm sure your faces will appear on one of these at some point in the future as well. So thanks again, and if there's anything that we can do as a national office, please don't hesitate to contact us.
Thank you guys, see you later.
Everyone.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Cheers.